We were talking the other day about Hollywood on this show, and we had mentioned the Batgirl movie that had gotten shelved, meaning they're not releasing it. And there's a lot of people that were confused about that. And they were thinking, was that a marketing ploy? Were they, trying to say like, hey, they thought maybe there'd be an outpouring of like, no, we really want to see Batgirl. For whatever reason, they're not releasing it. And, there's this idea that everyone in Hollywood's like a lunatic, but that's only true of certain people. And there are certain people that are actually good. And they're actually people that are trying to do the right thing, and they are good. They're a good example. They're like an example for people. And one of them, and again, this is a non-binary person, so I'm going to try to do this the right way and use all the right things because I believe in you. But it's hard and difficult to always remember. So don't come for me if I say the wrong thing. But this is about an actor who is actually a very, this is someone you want to, if you're a child, you want to kind of emulate this guy who's not a guy. Already it's hard. Literally already, it's this person, this entity, Ezra Miller. Ezra Miller is a non-binary actor who is a great role model for children. And there you see them there. Nothing awkward about saying that. You see them there. Good, seems good. English, everyone. You see them there with a skull necklace and a fur coat. Now, Ezra Miller has been having problems.
Yes.
With the studio who is releasing the movie The Flash. The studio is called Warner Brothers. And there is a movie coming out called The Flash. It is a superhero movie. Of course it is. Because we will refuse to make any movies anymore unless they are about superheroes or slaves. Those are the two genres of film that we are interested in making. You're either being beaten and whipped in a field or you're flying through the air trying to save someone. Those are the only two representations of any person you will see in cinema at the current moment. Ezra Miller was in this called The Flash. Now, what's going on with Ezra Miller? There's issues, there's problems, right?
A long timeline of legal troubles here.
He's had, I'm sorry. Just because he choked someone and kidnapped someone does not mean that we can get all loosey-goosey here with the terms. Ezra Miller, early in the pandemic, video leaked of Miller choking a woman outside I don't even want to pronounce it, but in Reykjavik, Iceland. It's a bar. In the clip, which seems to pick up mid-confrontation, a smiling woman approaches Miller and appears to start a play fight. Well, is this going to be one of those things where I have to side with them? Miller takes her motion seriously and says, okay, you want to fight? That's what you want to do? Before grabbing the woman by the neck, pushing her against a dumpster, throwing her to the ground, at which point the video cuts out. Seems excessive. Hey, Ezra. At the time, Variety confirmed Miller's identity with the bar, which said Miller frequented the location when they were in town. So he choked a woman.
Yes.
Not great.
Not good.
Not great PR for The Flash. On January 27th, 2022, Miller began their fateful year by posting a video to social media threatening a North Carolina faction of the Ku Klux Klan. This is a message for the Beulaville chapter of the North Carolina KKK. The actor says in the clip, look, if y'all want to die, I suggest killing yourselves with your own guns, okay? Otherwise, keep doing exactly what you're doing right now, and you know what I'm talking about, then you know we'll do it for you if that's what you really want. It's unclear what prompted Miller's threat to the hate group. He has no known ties to the North Carolina city. See, that's what makes me laugh is it's not just the KKK in general. It's a specific North Carolina, almost like he has a problem with a person in that specific faction of the North Carolina chapter of the Ku Klux Klan.
In Beulahville.
In Beulahville. Like, listen, guys, we are going to figure out what's going on with the Beulahville KKK. March 28, 2022, Hawaii arrest number one. Miller spent their spring in Hawaii. By all accounts, they were a menace to everyone around them. On March 28th, the actor was visiting a local karaoke bar when they grew agitated and began, quote, yelling obscenities and at one point grabbed the microphone from a 23-year-old woman singing karaoke. Later, Miller lunged at a 32-year-old man and failed to calm down after being asked several times by the bar owner. Miller's interactions with the two bar patrons earned them. And by the way, I can't get anything made because I sat next to Alex Jones on a podcast. Just to give you an idea, this person this is all okay. Who does he have photos of? They. Who do they have? When did Ezra Miller come out as non-binary?
I think a few years back.
Okay, great. Well, it's clearly helped their behavior. So Miller then posts $500 bail. They let him out.
Yeah.
Miller argues that they, in fact, were the victim of assault, claiming a self-identifying Nazi in the bar attacked him. There's always Nazis everywhere popping up. A Nazi in the bar attacked them and explaining that they recorded themselves being assaulted in order to make NFT crypto art. So Ezra Miller said, I was attacked by a Nazi and I recorded it to make crypto art?
Yeah, basically. Yeah. He's saying the Nazi was doing that.
They are saying
They were saying.
They are saying that. When does he... Okay, shortly after the karaoke bar incident, Miller was arrested again in Hawaii for allegedly throwing a chair that struck a woman in the head. At around 1 a.m, can I do this if I become non-binary? Can I throw chairs at women and go crazy at bars in Hawaii? Like, can I do all of that? Is that... Because, by the way, I don't feel... Really, to be honest, I didn't feel like a man or a woman today. I had... tomatoes and onions and I rolled it up and I didn't eat any bread and I rolled it up with lox and cream cheese and I ate it in the grocery store and I just sat there while the crazy guy talked about the Rolling Stones. I didn't feel my cock. If I had a vagina, that would have also been okay. Like I felt kind of like either one. So what I'm saying is if I fully embrace my kind of gender neutral fluid identity, can I choke women outside of bars and throw chairs at their head? It's a fair question. This is one of those things with Ezra Miller where everybody goes, you got to look into it. You got to look into it. You got to look into it. I've never looked into it. I just ignore it because you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So then Miller was accused of acting inappropriately toward two different children. First, the parents of Iron Eyes, an 18-year-old environmental... folks... The parents of Tokata Iron Eyes, an 18-year-old environmental activist, sought a protective order against the actor, saying who they began an inappropriate... Maybe you don't get your pronouns honored if you throw chairs at women's heads. Could that be a good rule? Where we go, hey, so if you are going to be violent, we're not going to actually honor the pronouns. So this is what they said. They said Ezra Miller began an inappropriate relationship with Iron Eyes when they were 12 years old. Ezra uses violence, intimidation, threats of violence, fear, paranoid delusions, and drugs to hold sway over young adolescent Tokata Iron Eyes, parent said. However, posts from an unverified Instagram account believed to be owned by Iron Eyes deny all claims of abuse. So the parents claim one thing, but Iron Eyes says, nope, we're doing fine. Soon after, a 12-year-old and their mother were granted an order of protection from Miller after describing an uncomfortable interaction with the actor during a party in Greenfield, Massachusetts. The mother and then her 11-year-old attended a party held by their downstairs neighbor, which Miller also attended. At the event, Miller began screaming in the mother's face after accusing her of cultural appropriation and allegedly showed her a gun, saying, quote, talking like that could get you into a really serious situation. After that, Miller reportedly, now, by the way, I know Gavin just got clipped and everyone's going to be, and I don't know what he did, and Gavin's always been good to me, but here's the deal. Everyone's going to be talking about right-wing terrorism. Every news article that you're going to read for the next 12 months will be about right-wing terrorism, which, again, does exist for sure. There are paramilitary groups that do crazy things, Capitol riot, whatever. But this type of behavior where he's like showing a gun to someone, talking about cultural appropriation, could we then move this into the category of a guy who is maybe influenced by the left a bit to doing some things that are inappropriate? Because he's using all like the terminology and he's got the gun and he's still in the movie. Mm-hmm. Yet, I imagine if this was kind of on the other side where he was talking about the great replacement theory or and brandishing guns, he might not work. That's all. Curious. I don't know. So he points a gun at a mother's face at a party because she said something. I don't know what she said. After that, Miller reportedly acted inappropriately toward the child by hugging them and touching their hips. They automatically were just weirdly drawn to me and kept talking about how they love my outfit and they love my style. It was really uncomfortable. I was nervous. I was scared to be around them after he'd yelled at my mother and she was crying. Why the mother then didn't leave the party is odd to me. In August 2022, those closest. Now, by the way, this person still has a job. They still, after all the shit, right? The Me Too, the cancel culture, this guy that's not a guy, that's a woman too, that's non-binary, that lives in the middle, and it's just hard because the name Ezra has always been a male name, but so it's difficult. It makes me. But the choker and the brandisher of guns at the mom still has a job in Hollywood. Odd. Interesting. In August, those closest to Miller spoke to Insider for a report that paints the actor as increasingly unstable. Really? And apparently running sort of a cult. The report alleges that while Miller was in Iceland in 2020, they walked around town barefoot, sporting long, unclipped toenails, what may have been an infected gash on their foot. Miller rented an Airbnb in the Reykjavik suburb of Kópavogur, and they ran a commune with beds laid out on the floor for artists, expats, and young women. They led group meditations and claimed to possess supernatural powers and also paid for food, lodging, and marijuana, but would become violent if they perceived any dissent within the group. These days, Miller runs another commune in Vermont, which has been described as having rampant drug use and unsecured guns. A woman and by the way, what is going on at Warner Brothers? How persuasive is this guy? Because, cult leaders can be charismatic. How charismatic is this guy that Warner Brothers is going, yeah, we'll figure it out. Mm. And by this guy, I don't mean gendered guy. Right. I mean I call my friend Michelle. What up, guy? Mm. So Miller's running a commune in Vermont.
Yeah. Rolling Stone ran a whole article about that too. Like the mainstream media has picked it up. Guns, bullets, and weed. He was housing 3 young children at this farm. There were guns laying everywhere. The 1-year-old had a bullet in their mouth. They've been reporting on this for a minute. Yeah.
So I now go to the article about Warner Brothers where everything's kind of okay. Because Ezra Miller came in and apologized. I'm my mind is blown by the fact that this person, how good of an actor are they? Mm. Maybe they're great.
It's kind of is where he met with them.
Miller, who uses they, them pronouns, and Metzger met with new Warner Brothers film chairs Michael DeLuca and Pamela Abbey to discuss not only how to stay on course for The Flash's June 23rd, 2023 release date, but to reaffirm their commitment to the movie as well as apologize for bringing negative attention to the production in the company. Over the past few years, Miller has been at the center of arrest and controversy, culminating with the actor posting a mea culpa on August 15th, saying they were seeking help for mental health issues. Said the actor at the time, I want to apologize to everyone that I have alarmed and upset with my past behavior. According to sources, Miller vowed to seek help after learning that DeLuca and Abdi were considering all options for Flash, including scrapping the $200 million movie if things devolved further with Miller. $200 million. While the actor is said to not have minded the stream of bad headlines, they were spooked by the notion of the film getting canceled and jolted to take action. They care about the Flash. It's one of their favorite characters to play. I mean, we're just living in a fucking disgusting, it's like a joke. It's like we're just living in a complete joke, I mean, it's, I drive around this town and, today the tour buses, and some of them are like legit tour buses. Some of them are just these little vans that are sawed off and they have no roof. And, and one of the guys recognized me, give me the peace sign or whatever. And, I'm like, they're driving around here and I'm like, get off these things. Like, get off these fucking, whatever you're looking for here, whatever stardom you're looking for is in Reykjavik, Iceland, running a cult. Like, it's such a joke. The town has become such a complete joke to people. It's a punchline of a joke that I'm amazed that industry still exists, the tourism industry, where people are like, show me the star. I mean, it's hilarious. That's neither here nor there. I mean, it's listen. Yeah, felony burglary on August 7th.
Yeah, he broke into someone's house and stole their liquor. He got caught for that in Vermont.
All right. Well, listen, the he/they things annoys me so much. We're not going to talk about it anymore. Is this part of coming out as non-binary in Hollywood, the ability to do all of these things? Is this part of it? If it's part of it, I think I would actually like to do it, and I would like to get on board as soon as possible with it. I'm unaware of what makes violence against women and children okay and what makes running a cult okay, but apparently, I don't know. It's strange. It's strange. I have no interest in the Flash either way. I don't care. I don't care about any of these. I'm sick of these superhero movies. I'm sick of the children that watch them, and by children, I mean 35-year-old losers that are into fucking superhero movies. You're disgusting. You're a disgusting person. And I only watch movies from the 90s. Ben knows this. If I have a movie night at my house, I only watch films from the 90s and the early 2000s. For the most part, I don't want to be involved in any of this freak show that's going on right now where people with Peter Pan syndrome, and I know that the studios are not making money on other movies, so they have to make these to go global. Fine. And some of them are enjoyable, whatever. The big one with the Hulk and Thor. What was that one? The Avengers and all that. Listen, I'm not saying that they're fun every now and then. The fact that it is the only genre of entertainment in America is disgusting. The fact that it is the sole genre of which you can partake in going to see a film is disgusting. Because this is a country that has a lot of old people. There's more old people than young. There's going to be so many old people because of the birth deficit or whatever, that there's so many old people, and all of the movies are superhero movies. So that's crazy to me, and that just upsets me. But story is just funny to me because it is funny how many buttons this person can push, how much criminality they can be involved with, and Warner Brothers just goes, yeah, whatever. It's cool.
It says full steam ahead in the article.
Full steam ahead. Good. Full steam ahead. Well, maybe Ron DeSantis will put the military in there. I mean, it's I don't know. I'm just saying, it's like, it's crazy. If Ron DeSantis, I will support him right now if he promises to use the military to get me work in this town. Like, if Ron DeSantis will use the military to literally go into these companies with guns drawn and make me a star of some of these superhero films, I will support Ron DeSantis. And if he's man enough to make that promise, where he will use the military, the full power of the United States military, to put boots on the ground in Beverly Hills and Hollywood and get me jobs, then I will support him. And I know that I'm sure he's looking for an endorsement from this show. That is what is needed. That is the requirement for a DeSantis endorsement, is him using the military to replace Ezra Miller with me in the Flash, in the new Flash film.